So in a thing that there is, it served the same person habeas corpus, I go in to say that I want to bring this stuff up in court. That I would like for them to be addressed. Now, the judge, when I bring this up, I said that my lawyer said that I had not challenged it. I'll show you that transcript later. The court says that was not the fault of your attorney. He did not advise me that you had not fought it. So look, it's a double negative. He did not advise me that you had not fought it. That means, in plain English, because a double negative is a positive, he did advise me that you fought it. I made a ruling that evidence as to the underlying basis to the issues related to your evidence to your involuntary commission would not be relevant to the proceedings. In other words, that is inappropriate and improper for an evidentiary perspective to reopen the facts and the circumstances of that involuntary commission. So the judge goes on here basically says she told my attorney, this is before my attorney even filed anything, what he could and could not file. All right, now as we get down here, we go talking, and this is what I tell her. Okay, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused because I thought my reading of the motion when I was in court, and you completely ignored me, said that I had defended myself and cited Lewis versus the United States and the United States versus Cohen from the Fourth Circuit. And that was under the impression that any issue relevant to my competency or that my commitment had been overturned was, and she cuts me off. Well, I want you to address these issues with Mr. Campbell. Again, your right to an attorney is used against you because they will not listen to anything you have to say. It has to come to your attorney. If they tell your attorney what to do, you have no rights. You're not defended. You don't have representation. You don't have a fair hearing. You don't have none of this. And like I kept saying, Your Honor, I'm sorry. And then the court says the proceedings that resulted in your involuntary commission are not to be reopened in terms of evidence during the prosecution or defense of this case. And like I said, I did file a habeas corpus, which you've seen. And the court orders. Now, we'll get into this in the next one because the next one, when I go to the motions hearing, will explain so much more. And I keep talking about this whole thing that my attorney, David Bungard, said I didn't challenge this in state court. Now, she tells Mr. Campbell, and Campbell avoids putting him and trapping himself by saying something that would, violate my rights in his position of representing me. But he says, no, ma'am, not at this time. The document is rather long. Mr. Collins and I have discussed this matter probably more than any other matter. And I informed him that I was of the opinion that the court ruled, and I can't get around that. So he's saying that the judge made a ruling based on what she already told Bungard to do, what she just admitted she told Bungard to do. And that was it. Now, Mr. Lowe goes in here making this argument, which she asked him for, which directly violates the jury instructions by saying that the only thing that he would argue with the issue was whether the defendant was involuntarily committed, that he thought he had legal status is not relevant. That's what the court ruled. But the court ruled as far as the mens rea, the mental state of it, that I have a right to discuss criminal intent. But he completely ignored that. And he says, and if he filed a habeas corpus, if Sharp ultimately released him and found him competent to stand trial, it is not relevant to any of the issues here today. But we already know, according to state law, the temporary commitment does not count against me to prohibit me from owning a gun. So this whole thing is was the prosecutor who already lied previously, as I showed you, are using lies told by a state trooper, which is a violation of, what is that? Brady versus Maryland. Now arguing against allowing me to produce relevant evidence to my case, prompted by Judge Berger after she says that she told my previous attorney what to file before he ever filed anything.